You heard it here first, folks. South Africa is winning the World Cup. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tshego Motjuwadi Show. Aiden Markram struck a match-winning 86 not out in the first T20 international against the Windies. Quinton de Kock hit a record-breaking century in his 100th T20 international in the second match of the series, smashing a career-best 115 runs off just 49 balls. And while we lost the third match, we saw positive signs from Jason Smith scoring 26 off 10 runs. The World Cup I refer to is the biennial ICC Men's T20 World Cup, co-hosted this year by India and Sri Lanka. T20 or 2020 cricket is the fastest version of the game, typically lasting about 3 hours. It gets its name from the structure. Each team gets 20 overs or 120 balls to bowl and bat respectively. The objective is to get as many runs as you can, as quickly as you can when you are batting, and to limit the other team to as few runs as possible when you are bowling. In 2016, the West Indies sat atop the T20 throne when they won the World Cup in what is easily one of the most scintillating games I have ever watched. Carlos Brathwaite!
Carlos Brathwaite! Remember the name!
10 years later, and in preparation for the World Cup, we beat the two-time winners in a pretty determined fashion. Also kicking off in February are the Proteas women going up against Pakistan in a home T20 and one-day international series, where we'll see former under-19 captain Kayla Reiniger and the #1 ranked batter Laura Wolfart is the best at what she does in the world! In keeping up with sport, our national netball team, known as the Spar Proteas, fun fact, clinched a 65-50 win over the England Roses, sealing a 2-1 Spar Challenge Series victory at the Ellis Park Arena. Listen, if you're tired, I get it. It's not easy winning so much as a country. While we've beaten them 18 times in head-to-head encounters, they've beaten us over 50. So, well done and congratulations to Jenny van Dijk and the ladies, who are nicely getting in the swing of things in the build-up to next year's Commonwealth Games. Now, what even is masculinity? Lasizwe, a man, is an ambassador of Maybelline New York, an American-based makeup brand known for their lash sensational sky-high mascara and lifter gloss lip gloss with what? How do you say that? How do you say it? Hyaluronic. Okay, is that how I say it? Hyaluronic acid. In other words, things women generally buy. Now, I'm not here to single Lasizwe out. I don't know him, I have never met him, and I've never spoken to him, which I'd be definitely keen to do. It's just that when I came across this campaign that he did with Maybelline, some thoughts started bubbling up. We don't live in a vacuum, and so long as you consume media, then media matters. What you consume shapes what you believe, which shapes what you value, which shapes what you do. I recently had a conversation with my 10-year-old cousin who said he doesn't want to get married. I asked him why, and he said he doesn't want to get cheated on. I asked him where he's seen people getting cheated on, and he said YouTube. You see, that's the power of media. Now, again, I'm not here to single Lasizwe or the LGBTQIA+ community out. I'm just sharing my thoughts around the perceptions and portrayal of manhood in South Africa, which is pretty nuanced. We've all got issues, we've all got struggles, and we all need Jesus. This is by no means me being the morality police, climbing on my high horse and pointing things out in people when I've got my own nonsense to deal with. But back to my original point. The portrayal of men in media really concerns me. I'm referring to the elevation and presentation of a specific male archetype that is timid, hesitant, and overly sensitive. This has largely come about in an effort to deconstruct toxic masculinity. Now, does toxic masculinity exist? Sure. But masculinity is not toxic. Anything taken to its most extreme form will most likely be harmful. Changing your eating habits to healthier foods is good. But changing your eating habits to the degree that you vomit everything that you eat is bad. Whatever you consume shapes you. And so long as you consume media, then it will shape what you believe, what you value, and what you practice. Something that we need to take extremely serious in our nation. The nation goes where the family goes, and the family goes where the men go. Now again, these things are complex and there isn't enough time in this video to really unpack it all. But it is the absence of available present men in our homes, families, and communities that has largely resulted in where our nation finds itself. Because again, the nation goes where the family goes, and the family goes where the men go. And if the men aren't at home, then where do we go? A 2016 gender-based violence review done by the Embassy of Finland had the following to say. Other studies show that children raised by abusive fathers are likely to become violent towards their partners. This is because these fathers were also abusive towards their wives. It is possible that the child's anger towards the father is displaced onto the partner as an adult. Furthermore, some young men who use violence against their partners have grown up without a father. It is estimated that between 20% and 30% of children in South Africa grow up without fathers. This negatively affects children, especially boy children, some of whom become violent and aggressive later in life. However, it is important to note that not all young men who grow up without fathers or who witness their fathers hitting their mothers become violent. Despite their upbringing in violent homes, some boys disidentify with violent notions of masculinity and embrace identities that are non-violent and gender sensitive. There isn't a male macho scale to which men should measure themselves by, but there is a godly makeup in the nature of each and every single man. In the same way, there is a godly makeup in the nature of each and every single woman. The most masculine thing that you can do is to take responsibility. Responsibility for our families, for our communities, and for our nation. Now switching gears, we're hosting another international event, people. The World Economic Forum announced that for the first time, South Africa has been selected to host the World Economic Forum special meeting in April 2027, also known as Spring Davos. This high-level global summit brings together world leaders, policymakers, investors, and business voices to discuss economic growth, investment, and new opportunities. And most importantly, it's an opportunity to showcase our country. Geopolitically speaking, these things matter a lot. Coined by political scientist Joseph Nye Jr., soft power refers to the ability of a nation to influence the behavior and preferences of others through attraction and persuasion, because other countries admire its values, emulate its example, and aspire to its level of prosperity. You'd often do this through sports, media, or hey, hosting international events. This is essentially the mind space that we'd occupy when people think about South Africa. It is essentially our brand as a nation. And off the back of a successful G20 in November and welcoming more than 10 million tourists in 2025, this is definitely a win. Growing up, German cars were largely the most desirable cars to have. There is no way that Mercedes-Benz, BMW, and Audi did not reinforce a positive perception of Germany as a result. Personally, it was so positive that I wanted to live in Germany. I even decided to take it in high school, the language, German. As it was then, you see China making the same play with Chery, Haval, JQ, and all its other car brands. So this is also our chance. Just this time, instead of doing it with machinery and engineering, we get to do it with amazing weather, great people, and our signature South African hospitality. Things that those countries will never have. And that's a wrap for the Tshego Motjuwadi show. Let me know what you think, if I missed anything or if I got anything wrong, and we will see you in the next one.